Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zaks Traders Cafe for Wednesday the 25th of June. Starting off with the FTSE, which is rather simply stuck between the 8,700 and 8,800 levels to high today, 87.92. So you can see the market, I can see that range. We've got the positives as the 50 and 200 day lines rising. Slightly negative as the RSI just below neutral 50, but probably the glass still half full rather than half empty in terms of staying above 8,700 and heading to 9,000. Perhaps by the end of next month, 9,000 being the top of that spring 2024 rising trend channel. The worst at the moment is a rug pull down to the 50-day line, 86.33. The sort of rug pull that we saw and have seen at the DAX. So there we hit the 50-day line, 23,300. Above that, we've been looking for the top of the channel there from the spring of last year, as high as 25,000. Hopefully by the end of next month. Current situation is slightly complicated in the sense that we gapped up yesterday after gapping down earlier in the month, so it was a bear trap island reversal. Still a very bullish setup while that gap remains unfilled down to 23,400. Moving on to the Dow, and here was a certain amount of stress in the sense that we were hoping that this market would hold the floor of that rising trend channel at 42,000. It's managed to do that. We had a key reversal up the previous session, a gap higher yesterday. Just need to see further progress now above 43,000. The neckline resistance post-March resistance for this market, looking for a minimum of 44,000 by the end of next month, while we're above the 200-day line, 42,500. Double bounce of the RSI at neutral 50, which is normally a great leading indicator on the upside, and so therefore, while we're above 42,000, looking for 44,000 on this market. On to Bitcoin, well, one would have thought that this market would be going through the roof, given all the companies buying Bitcoin in keeping with their Bitcoin treasury strategy. And actually, if you look at the chart closely, you can see that there's been a decent move so far this week. The main resistance line there at 109,000, RSI at 55, which is perfect for a fresh move to the upside, and above that 109, looking for up to 125 at the top of that rising trend channel from the spring of last year. Obviously, if we get up there by the end of next month, the Bitcoin treasury stocks would probably go absolutely berserk. In terms of the downside, not looking for anything lower than actually what we've got. We were already assuming we might get a dip to 98,000 because that was the initial May resistance. That's what we've got, and the floor of the channel there, 98,000 at the moment as well. Moving along to gold, and here the battle has been a battle of trying to get through 3,400, which so far it looks like this market has lost. We were also had a bounce off the 200-day line, which was something we were expecting. That's at the 50-day line, rather. That's at 33.23. End of day close below that. We'll be looking for a dip down towards 32.50, which was the late May support, but hoping that this is the price channel floor rebound, and actually we've seen the low on this current move. What will be interesting is if we can ever break that resistance line there from back in April at 34.30, which at the moment looks like it's a bit difficult. RSI below neutral 50 now, so the 32.50 zone is a risk for this market. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with a few that we haven't looked at for a long time. African Pioneer. Here we've had a unfilled gap to the upside off the low, and we've been in a falling trend channel, which I'm just drawing at the moment. Top of the channel there at 1 pence, and while we're above the latest gap there at 0.65, looking for a penny by the end of next month. The other point to note, of course, is that we've had a gap to the downside at the end of April and a gap higher now. So it's a bear trap island reversal, one of our favorite setups, on the basis that it means that the bears have been wrong-footed, and therefore we're all the more confident that we can get up to a penny by the end of next month on that stock. On to Bezant, and here we've had it looks like a mid-move consolidation for these shares at the moment. We're in a rising trend channel, top of the channel there at 0.045, looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above the 50-day line, 0.026. On to Bluebird, one of the Bitcoin situations, which is actually following through on the upside. And here we can see that looks like we've got a mid-move consolidation, which is actually quite encouraging. We have been looking for 2.2 pence by the end of next month, and we're looking for that while we remain above the previous target there at 1.05. That was the second target, the first one, around the 0.8 pence level. On to Coinsilium, which had the mother of all rug pulls yesterday, and lots of people saying, oh, this is all in a bubble and all that sort of stuff like that. Well, obviously, if you missed the move from 2 pence to 89 pence, you'll say it's a bubble because you are bitter and twisted. But the current situation is that we've got the shares back above 40 pence. There was some resistance on the way up around this area, so yesterday's low around 30 was actually a previous target that we had. And above 30, the levels are 50 and then 80. So end of day close above 50 is what we're looking for there. Any dips towards 30 currently regarded as a buying opportunity, especially given how much of a retracement we've had from the 89 pence peak. Moving along to Haydale, which has actually, unlike the cryptos, had a fantastic move to the upside. And in fact, we've had all the, I think 3 or 4 targets there all hit. And the final target there, which was the red resistance line projection, hit at 0.76, and very happy with that. In fact, given that it was not an easy win for this stock to achieve, but we've hit that target and actually still look as though we're prepared to go higher. In terms of what the next level higher would be, you can see that resistance, or we're looking for the resistance on the way down, which was towards the 1.5 pence area over the course of July 2023. So let's see if the shares can do that, but still a bit of work to do in terms of getting up there. Upside value, certainly while we're above 0.6 pence resistance on the way up. On to Mila. Here you can see that nice bit of consolidation there at the old target level, which was around 0.85. Next level up was 0.97, so looking for that while we're above 0.85 on this situation. Had a nice golden cross and looking really for the shares to retest the best levels of last month by the end of July, especially while we're above the 0.85 zone or 0.8 pence zone. Stock we haven't looked at for quite some time is coming up next, RC365, which was a rising trend channel, rising price channel base there, and rising 50-day line as well. I want to see the end of the day close above the 200-day line at 1.37 to give us an implied target as high as 2.25 pence by the end of next month. On to Smarter Web, where the bears are very happy that the shares have gone down after going up about 2,000%, as if that's some kind of victory. Obviously, if you didn't buy it in the under 10 pence and didn't sell over £5, you'll be very upset about how well the shares have done. Currently, the situation is that we're around the £2.80 level. Obviously, if somebody had said a couple of months ago that the shares of Smarter Web would be £2.80, it would be unbelievable. And that's proved to be the case now. What's interesting is that we got yesterday's low at 197 as a potential support point. There's also the previous lows there around £2.40. Probably the best way forward here is to look for the shares to re-enter that rising trend channel around £3.30 if you are happy to give away that kind of upside. Otherwise, it is yesterday's low 197, which would be a potential buy on the dip opportunity. Moving on to another stock which has joined the Bitcoin Treasury Brigade, apparently, and it's Truspine. Here you can see that we've hit the top of that channel there at 2.25 pence, looking for the shares to hit up to 3.25 pence, the old June 2024 resistance by the end of next month. Upside value while we're above recent resistance around 1.3 pence on that situation. Very impressed with TAO Alpha. It seems to be one of the more solid situations, even though we obviously had spiked and overshot. But the shares have seen the floor of that rising trend channel there, around 5.7 pence, and above that we're looking for a partial or even full retracement or retest of the best levels towards 26 pence. Ideally, I think 14 or 15 pence would be a decent rebound level over the next few days, even if the shares couldn't get up to the dizzy heights of earlier this week. On to the last stock, which is back in proper stuff, which is gold. Here you can see that Wishbone Gold, rising trend channel base, rising 50-day moving average. Initial target here, the 200-day line at 0.22, but we're looking for the shares to hit the top of that rising trend channel base as high as 0.27 by the end of this month, i.e. by the end of this month, which is the 30th, which is Monday. So looking for that while we're above 0.15.